This bike looked like it rolled off the production line in the 1950s. However, this is a brand new bike. The Royal Enfield Classic 650 is unapologetically old school. But is there more to it than nostalgia and chrome? I'm Usernamekate, and today that is what I intend to find out. This is the Royal Enfield Classic 650, a timeless silhouette reborn with a twin-cylinder heart, built to evoke post-war styling and old-school charm. It's unmistakably classic looking. In the UK, it's available in 3 different colour options: vellum red, teal, and the striking black chrome. At the core is the same 648cc air and oil cooled parallel twin that powers the Interceptor, Continental GT, Super Meteor, Shotgun and Bear. Smooth, refined and built for effortless cruising. Suspension is handled by 43mm telescopic forks at the front and twin shocks with preload adjustability at the rear. Set up for relaxed road comfort and classic handling manners. Braking is taken care of with a 320mm disc up front and a 300mm disc at the rear, both backed by dual channel ABS. It weighs in at 243kg wet, has a seat height of 800mm, and with a generous 14.8 litre tank, it's built for laid back miles of pure nostalgic riding. Okay, let's go. Right team, I am about to ride the Royal Enfield Classic 650. Just look at it, oh my gosh. In this colour option, it is special. The vellum red, pff. The teal, pff. I really am not a fan of those colours. And if I saw this bike just in those colours, I would discount it. I'm sorry if you own one. I don't mean to offend you. But this colour has me in a chokehold. Right, let's get riding. Right everybody, I'm on the road on the Classic 650. And this kind of bike is not normally something that, you know, massively appeals to me. There's kind of one cruiser that I really adore. That's a Harley Davidson 48, which unfortunately they don't produce anymore. And all the other ones, you know, they just kind of meh to me. However, I've got to say, Royal Enfield's Classic 650, with this design, with this aesthetic, of course we kind of knew what we were going to get because the 350 exists, so it's going to obviously look quite similar. I think it looks absolutely beautiful, I really do. And it is one of these kind of, you know, cruiser bikes, or the older looking cruisers, that really do tickle my fancy. Now, as I mentioned just briefly there before I set off, the Valium red, Valium, oh my god, it might as well be Valium. It's trippy to look at. The vellum red, should I say, it's too much for me personally. It's just too much and it's not to my taste at all. Same with the teal. The teal, and I understand why they've done that design, like that colour scheme, because it is quite reminiscent of the proper oldies, but it's just not, they're just not for me at all. But this, oh my god, the black chrome, absolutely love it, adore it, gorgeous. In fact, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're on a motorbike. Sometimes I forget I'm on a motorbike. I especially like the Classic 650 in this colour option, in this trim, with the kind of single seat and the real big chrome rear mudguard, or chrome fender if you're American, because I think it looks really beautiful. And to me it loses some of its sexiness when you do put that pillion seat on, but then that's the same with the Shotgun 650 in my opinion as well. I feel like everything looks better with a single floaty seat.
But yeah, I was definitely intrigued to ride this bike because I've ridden, I think, every bike in the Royal Enfield range with this 650 engine. I'm pretty sure there's not a single one I haven't ridden. I've ridden, what have we got? We've got Shotgun, Super Meteor, Interceptor, Continental GT. There's got to be more, surely. The Bear 650, which I've just ridden, and now the Classic 650. So Royal Enfield are constantly expanding on that tried and tested engine. They're constantly developing different bikes into the range, and I believe a 750 Interceptor or 750 Himalayan, got told off recently for saying Himalayan, I think they've been spotted. So, you know, we're still getting new models with the 650 engine, but I do think Royal Enfield have some tricks up the sleeve for the future. So speaking on this engine, we've got 46.4 brake horsepower and we've got 52 newton meters of torque. And if you watch my Bear review recently, you'll be thinking, hang on a minute, it's got the same engine, so why does the Bear put out a horsepower more, and why has it got 8% more torque than this? So even though the models share the same engine, oh, this is not good, is it? Look at this. What the actual heck? What the actual heck is going on? Right, it's not, we can't even squeeze through there. God damn it. That is not a weaselable operation for me. It's just not a weasable operation because of that bloody cone. How annoying, Shanice. How annoying. Don't really want to go up the inside. So you creep forward, you don't want to let a little Classic come through. Well, guess what? Toot toot beep beep. We're on a motorcycle. If we have to put up with all weathers, you can put up with a bit of a perk for us. Right, sorry, as I was saying before, we just came across all that crazy traffic and roadworks. So it's the same engine platform, the 650, of course, but different things impact how much brake horsepower and torque certain models get. For example, the Bear 650 is the only model in the range to have a 2-into-1 exhaust, which is where you see mainly the torque gains. This has 2 little pea-shooter exhausts and will contribute to that 1 horsepower drop to the 46 horsepower instead of the 47. I think one thing that Royal Enfield are good at is understanding where to place tech, where it's appropriate, where it might not be so appropriate to aid authenticity of like an aesthetic, a theme of a bike. So for example, with the new Bear, you know, it's still not very tech heavy, but it has appropriate tech, like being able to disengage the rear ABS if you want to off-road. And we've got that new 4-inch TFT dash on the Bear, which is quite suiting to the bike. That's on the Himalayan as well, and you know, again, it fits with the bike. This bike, this Classic 650, I mean, it's in the name, isn't it, Classic? It's not going to be very classic with a big fancy fruity TFT dash. So we've got this, you know, kind of cool layout on the headlight, and I think it's nice. It's nice. Got the analog dash there. There we've got the key, and then on this side we do have a little bit of tech, which is the Royal Enfield Tripper. Not massively dissimilar to a Beeline if you're familiar with that. But it does give you navigation turn by turn through Royal Enfield's app. So there is a little bit of modernity. It's not a word. Modernicity. Again, not a word, Kate. Modernity. Sounds like paternity, maternity. Don't think that's right either. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm just not Englishing very well. What I'm trying to get at is, even though there's a little bit of modern tech there, it doesn't spoil or overpower the classicness of this bike. Okay, it's very busy today. Crazy. We can see it's clear. Please don't pull out on me. You big HGV. Please don't pull out on me. Please don't pull out on me. Please don't pull out on me. One thing I really like is the switch gear. I like it how these are chrome. I like how we've got adjustable levers. That's nice. So, even though it looks like a classic cruiser, an old school, nostalgic cruiser, there is one thing to me that is not very cruiser-like about it, and that's its seat height. Now, on paper, the seat height is 800mm, and, you know, that sounds, you know, in line with cruisers. 800mm of a seat height is pretty low. But when you actually sit on this bike, lowness is not something that comes to mind. In my opinion, it's actually quite a tall cruiser because the seat is so wide. I was worried about clearance then, but it's lapped it up. That was lovely. Yeah, the seat is super wide, and it's actually quite, I was like, whoa, when I sat on it, because I was not expecting to be so far off the ground. So we're in 6th gear, drop it to 3rd, it's quite a tight one. We've got a 19-inch front, but the handling of that was actually quite lovely. I don't really think it's a bike that you would buy to spank around. It's not emitting spank around energy. It's giving off, you can ride me around, chill and respectfully, and I'll look after you. And I'll make you look really cool while you're riding around. That's the vibes it's giving me, you know? So it's no secret that she's a chunky lass. 243 kilograms. It's definitely up there with one of the weightier models. For example, the Bear bike comparison that I've just reviewed is about 214. So yeah, there's a big step up in weight. Another modern touch with this bike, where we've got the modernness in the right places, is with LED lights on this bike. I don't think anybody would complain about the move from halogen to LED, just from a safety and visibility perspective, for sure. But no, I really like this, you know. I really like it. I actually really like the fact as well that the pegs are a mid-control. I'm not a forward foot fan. Forward foot fan? I'm not a forward control fan at all. I really don't like it. I've got short legs. It's always a stretch. It's always a reach. When I'm on bikes with forward controls that are quite powerful, like the Rocket 3 GT, I feel my feet being blown up by the wind, and I just hate it. So mid-controls on this, ace. Absolutely love it. If you've got long legs, you might find it a bit cramped. But I don't know, if you've ridden this bike, the Classic 650, and you have long legs, please feel free to comment below in the comments about the riding position for you. Alright, so we're in a national, finally, nationally, baby. So we will have a little throw around, a little slam down. No, hopefully no slamming down. 6th gear, 5th, 4th, bit of back brake. Just to scrub off some initial speed to take it at an appropriate speed. There we go. I do like the back brake on this. The brakes definitely work better, no shit Sherlock, when you have a little bit of back introduced as well as the front. It's just a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight to stop. We've got a single disc up top, you know. It's just, it's trying its best. When you introduce a bit of back brake, yeah, you've got a lot better chance of stopping. Well, so far we've done alright to avoid the rain, although whenever I film around here and it starts to spit like it is now, a little bit, usually I get caught out in a downpour, so I've got that to look forward to, I'm sure. Oh, I actually really like the handling of this. It's lovely. Oh, cows! Look at them little angels. Oh, so sweet, so cute. Of course it's starting to rain quite heavy. Of course. I couldn't remain dry. That'd be way too much to ask. Behave. Right, I think on this note, we're going to jump to my pros and cons.
Right, so talking about the pros of this bike, the first thing is how it looks, the aesthetics. It's gorgeous. I mean, if you're seeing what I'm seeing, hopefully you'll understand just how special looking and pretty this bike is. Another pro, I love that, like the Shotgun, you've kind of got a two-in-one motorcycle, in the sense that you can have it with a single seat, and you've got this chrome or whatever colour option you've got, kind of mudguard here, and it looks as intended. It doesn't look like a pillion seat could bolt on it and stuff like that, but because you do have a removable subframe and all that jazz, you can actually put it so that you do have a pillion seat on this. Changes the whole aesthetic of the bike, but it's just nice that you've got the option to, if you do want to rock around with a pillion, you can. If you don't, then you can just have this gorgeous single seat setup. I think it's so sexy. Another pro, I'm a massive fan of this riding position and the comfort of the seat. It's so soft, it cups your bum, it's lovely. The riding position is great. I don't feel too stretched. I just feel perfectly neutral, perfectly relaxed. We've got the mid controls, which I personally find very appealing. Not a fan of all this malarkey, not for me. And yeah, the riding position and the comfort is definitely a pro. Another pro, that under-stressed, laid-back engine does make for a very smooth ride. It's just a joy, a pleasure to get on and ride. I really do like the engine, and I understand why Royal Enfield sell so many of their 650s. Okay, moving on to cons. There are a few. Personally, I find looking at the analog speedo quite annoying because it's so far forward and sloped and it's on a needle. I kind of feel like from the angle I'm not getting a true reading of the speedo because I'm kind of not like directly above it looking at it. It's kind of in the future, just out of reach. No, it's just in front, and because of where your eyes are and where the needle is, it just annoys me because I feel like it looks like I might be doing like 35 in a 30 or, you know, 33 in a 30. And I know it's only small, but it just annoys me a little bit how I feel like I can't get a true reading because of how far away it is. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, that's just a bit annoying. Another con, I guess, is for the short people out there, like myself. I mean, it's manageable, but it is a deceptive seat height on paper. 800mm, you'd think it'd be really low, but because you've got this super wide seat and you've got these panels, they kind of throw your legs out and make it feel a lot taller than an 800mm seat, that is for sure. Now I'm a 5'4" individual, or 162 centimetres, with a 29-inch inside leg measurement, or 73.66 centimetres if you prefer that metric. And yeah, I do just find it quite tall, as you know, I'll insert some footage now so you guys can see that. But yeah, it is on the tall side for a bike of this design and genre, in my opinion. Another con, and there's no getting away from it, it's the weight of the thing. 243 kilograms. It is one of the heavier 650s that Royal Enfield do. Now in its defence, you don't feel it when you're riding it. It's the case with most bikes, to be honest. And of course we do have that single disc setup at the front, so it's a lot of weight for that disc to stop. However, turning a con into a positive, the brakes when used together are actually quite strong, which is good, but it does mean that you do have to engage that rear foot a lot when you want to stop, not just if you're riding in wet weather and you want to increase the usage of it. It's kind of better to use it all the time if you do actually want to grind this thing to a halt. And also, I guess because of the power to weight ratio on this, another con is that this bike can feel like one of the slower 650s in the range, just purely because of that. But again, kind of turning a con into a positive, when I ride this bike I don't feel the need to stonk it around, spank it around. So yeah, it's not too bad, but it is noticeable a bit because it is just such a lump. So what are my final thoughts on Royal Enfield's 2025 Classic 650? Didn't expect to really like it, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really think it was my bag. But riding it, how this one specifically in the black chrome with this setup, this floating seat, how this looks, I think it's actually my favourite Royal Enfield 650 in the range. And I did not expect to be saying that, but I actually really love it. And as I said early on in the video, I feel like it's got me in a bit of a chokehold. I just think it's stunning. But yeah, what a machine, what a machine. And on that note, I love you and leave you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, hit that subscribe button, don't leave me hanging, and I'll see you on the next. Bye.